Welcome back to TalkBack Live, and we're talking auto tech in this section with Steve Young. And we still have some more questions that have come in from various sundry of sources. Those were the two that poured in earlier. But I did have somebody to ask you, they bought a used car. Where is the spare tire?
It depends on the type of the car. Some cars do not have spare tires. If they have run flat tires, basically a run flat means you can run it without air to usually around 50 miles. And they wouldn't have a spare tire in the back of it, so you can get to a repair facility and have the tire repaired or replaced.
Now, the spare tire on my Nissan 300Z was an inflatable tire, but it was one of those little things.
Yeah, a little donut.
Yeah, a little donut, and you had to have some air thing that fill it up, and then you could put it on. And that's the same type of situation.
Well, the newer ones now, they don't have the air pressure to do that. They come full already.
Yeah, that shows how long ago I bought that. But anyway.
It didn't have wooden spokes, right?
No, that was 1984, and things are a little different.
Okay.
On the overall scheme of things. Still a cool car.
Oh, yeah.
One day we're going to fix it, aren't we?
Eventually.
Eventually, when I have some money. That'll be another story for another time. But you know, doesn't the owner's manual have the...
Most of the owner's manual will tell you where your spare tire's at, how to do it, and the safety precautions you need to. Most people have AAA or some type of towing insurance. If you're not used to changing the tire,
yeah.
And they'll come change it for you.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't have time to wait for them to show up and change it usually, but I haven't had to change a spare tire or change to a spare tire in quite some time.
Yeah, most people don't. And nowadays, I mean, if you have a tire that goes flat and you're going to pull off the side of the road, if you're off to an angle on the side of the road and parts on grass and trying to jack the car up, that can be a safety hazard if you don't know what you're doing.
Well, it's just like the Christmas Story in the movie when they have a flat tire and he pulls over. That used to happen a lot back in those days. There was no AAA.
Exactly.
And you had to know how to jack it up and put it on. And he was going to break the new record. Didn't seem to affect it at all.
Yep.
The Christmas Story will be on soon, in a couple of months.
I love that. My dad loves it.
That is a great movie from that stand. So, and another thing that's hard to figure out is how to change the time. We're approaching daylight savings time. How do you change the time on your car?
It depends on each vehicle. This time of the year, when the time changes, I do get quite a few people to come by and say, "Can you set my clock for me?" And it's not necessarily them. It's a real pain sometimes on a lot of these cars with the GPS. And sometimes, like on a Mercedes, you have to go. There are certain menus you have to go through, and you sync the one that has an analog one in the dash to sync it to the GPS. And there's a certain way you have to do it, and it can be very tedious.
Yeah. Well, It is tedious. A lot of times I just wait till the time
rolls around
and comes back again, and just remember that I'm an hour behind or an
Well,
hour
I
ahead
used to change clocks for everyone if I noticed it was off and just set it for them. But I had one customer many years ago, and I was driving the car and said, "Oh, the time's off." So I set the clock, and a few days later she called me up and said, "Did you set my clock?" And I said, "Yes." She was like, "I was an hour late for work." So after that, I did not do that anymore.
Yeah, I can. If you're used to that clock saying one thing, you get there and realize, geez, the clock's right. How did that happen? That would be me. All right, gas mileage always continues to be something that people want to do, and I was looking at some tips online as to things that you could do, and it was interesting. One of them that it suggested was you need to park in the shade, that the gas, if it's really hot, can evaporate out of your tank. Is that true?
The evap systems on the new cars, everything's self-contained. I mean, there is a pressure relief valve built into the cap, but not enough that's going to cause any damage, or you're not going to lose really any fuel.
Right.
It's not going to cause that. Now, some of the older cars, yes, because they didn't have an evaporative system in it. The gas cap had a vent in it, so basically when the pressure would go up, you would lose some out, but not enough to really amount to anything.
Yeah, I thought that was a rather odd thing to read.
Well, new gas now with the ethanol that's in it, that will cause an issue as well, because the ethanol is alcohol. Alcohol evaporates a lot faster.
Right.
So, I mean, you can take a bucket and put gas in it, leave it open to the air, and you can come back the next day and it's dropped down a couple of inches because that much is evaporated already.
Well, that brings up a question. If you go and you have a lawnmower and it doesn't need that, it actually supposedly hurts the working parts of the engine for the ethanol.
If it sits for a long period of time, because it's kind of corrosive. So basically, you try to get gas with non-ethanol, or they have some additive. Stabil is one of them that you add to it, and it works really well, especially for gas. It's going to be sitting for a long period of time, like in weed eaters and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. From a standpoint of the gas, you go and you fill it in your tank. You don't use it all. You go ahead and fill the tank up. If you leave it open, does the ethanol evaporate out?
You mean as in what, on a car? Like if you left your gas cap off, or are you
Well,
talking
no,
about in your lawnmower?
I'm talking about the gas can that you filled up to put into your lawnmower.
You need to seal it. Yeah, if not, it will evaporate.
Well, but does ethanol evaporate first and leave you?
The alcohol evaporates first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So actually, it's good to leave it open at first, just to
No,
get
because
it done.
that's what's bringing up your octane on the fuel. Then you'll have very low grade gas.
But this is for a lawnmower.
Yeah, it's a lawnmower.
So if you're putting it in a lawnmower or a weed eater, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. It probably wouldn't hurt anything at all.
No.
You just don't want to put diesel in it.
It doesn't hurt at all. Because, you don't want to put diesel. No. Yes, you do need to distinguish that. Do people do that often?
I've had a few vehicles towed into the shop, either vice versa, put diesel in the gas, but more than likely, it's usually a diesel vehicle that gas has been put into it, and the car usually just won't run, or run a short distance, and then it just stalls and cuts off.
Trying to think if there's somebody I know.
I've had quite a few customers that's happened to over the years.
Yeah, I think there's somebody close by that's done that. Oh,
yeah, very close. Yes.
But at any rate, you're supposed to, if you change your air filter every 6 months, that helps your gas mileage?
It does, because it has to draw the air through there, and if you restrict the flow, it's basically just like you trying to run and having something restrict the flow of air coming in your mouth.
And going back to, you need to keep that cap on tight. There's some cars that won't run. They'll give you an error message.
Yeah, check engine light. A lot of the newer cars, when it first started with evaporative systems on it, it'll come up. A check engine light would come on if you left your gas cap loose.
Right.
The newer ones, majority of them will say tighten gas cap. A little light comes on and says tighten gas cap, because 9 times out of 10, that's what it is.
Yeah. You and I've had that issue before, and it wasn't the gas cap.
Yeah. It was plastic hose or something
Volkswagen
on it. The
Volkswagen from hell. That's where it apparently came from. But I sold it, so I don't have to worry about that particular deal. And oil. Oil can make a difference in terms of, I guess, changing your oil.
Yeah, changing oil regularly. That helps the internal workings of the engine.
And the right kind of oil, too,
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, on some of the new cars, especially like the hybrids, because, it's a gas engine and is basically you have an electric motor. And on a lot of them, the electric motor is what starts the engine. It doesn't have a separate starter on some of them. And if you use the wrong oil inside the car, it won't let you run at all, because it thinks there's a problem with the engine, and it's too much drag on the engine, so it won't let it run, period.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it other than it's got the wrong oil in it.
Okay. And you just suck it all out and put some in and make it go from there.
And reset the system.
But some of them you need synthetic as opposed to...
A lot of the newer cars, especially with the higher, running more and more mileage between oil changes, most of them synthetic, like Mercedes and BMWs. Volkswagen, Audis, almost all the newer ones they're synthetic, and they're special additives they want to use in those specific cars. And if you don't use the correct oil, it will void the warranty on a lot of newer ones.
That wouldn't be fun. They look for reasons to turn warranties down. Used the wrong oil.
Well, I've seen that.
That's another story for another time in terms of the aggravation of such things. Do you, if you've got a used car, you get a warranty that comes with it, and let's say it's 36,000 miles.
Yeah.
Do you ascribe to the idea that it's a good idea to buy an extended warranty?
Yeah, it is, depending on the type of car. Higher maintenance cars, which is the German cars, Jaguars, Land Rovers, any of those cars, recommend an extended warranty. Some of those extended warranties, depending on the mileage that you have on the car, they can go mild to wild as in the price of the extended warranty. I mean, they can charge $2,000, $3,000 depending on the type of car, and depends on the mileage that you're getting it at. If you get one to say it's a 3-year, 36,000 miles, and you got 40,000 miles, it's just out of the factory warranty, that extended warranty would be a lot cheaper than one that say it's got 80,000 miles on it, and you want to get an extended warranty. Because there's more mileage, more things are going to happen over a period of time.
Okay. Now, just to finish up our gas thing, and I think we've covered just about everything one way or another, but what is to you, the number one thing somebody can do to keep their gas mileage better than what maybe they're getting?
Number one thing?
Yeah.
the biggest thing is, I mean, check your tire pressure. I mean,
Right.
that's a big thing. And keep your car tuned correctly. And that's the biggest thing, to be honest with you. And driving habits go a long way too. Yeah, you know, pulling off from a red light.
fast,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Well, start not. Yeah, if you take off from a red light from a green light and just take off real fast and give it a lot of gas to get up to speed. I mean, that's just wasting fuel. Nice and easy driving. I mean, that does get better gas mileage.
That's like that darn Cindy back here. She drives around like this maniac, like she's trying to win a drag race. The light turns green.
Yeah, she knows 2 speeds, stop and wide open, right? Yep.
And speed.
Yeah, I remember when she owned that Porsche. Yeah.
Speeding around, having a good time. Well, I appreciate you taking time and spending with us and
No problem.
giving everybody some tips on what to do and where to go. And
Okay.
always, if you need any help, you can stop by Autotech.
Yeah, anytime.
And if it's Steve, if it's not Steve, it's one of the great people who work there. They'll take care of you and lead you in the right direction as to how to keep your car running smoothly. All right. Well, thank you for
Okay.
coming.
Good seeing you, Ed.
It's good seeing
Take
you.
care.
We'll let you go back to work.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
probably another car that's come in that needs Steve Young.
All right, well, have fun with Elliot.
Well, I will.
Okay.
I will. We'll change gears, and we'll have Elliot come in, and he's got something special that he's brought off the wall from the Aiken County Historical Museum, and we'll do that when we come back.